Mute.
Welcome everyone. We'll begin in just a moment. I'm letting a bunch of people in from the waiting room. Here we go. Admit all. Love that button in Zoom. All right. All righty. All right, everyone, good evening. It's great to see all of you here. We're going to begin our event. Welcome to Virtual Pitch Night. By now, we should be familiar with this dynamic, right? We are in this virtual world. We are learning how to adapt to this virtual world. And honestly, I can't think of people who've adapted better than the folks you're going to hear from tonight. My name is Bran. I will introduce myself in just a second. But at the top of our event, I want to make sure you get a chance to hear from our our Chief Executive Officer, Jane Allen. Jane, are you out there?
I am out here.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Well, look, my little line says Chief Operating Officer.
Oh my gosh.
Say, it's whatever. I can do the coffee. I can do whatever we need. So I don't really believe in titles because I'm an entrepreneur. And, entrepreneurs don't necessarily always believe in the titles, but in any event, I am here at the EC, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome all of you. This is our first public event, albeit virtual, but first public event for 2021. And we are thrilled that it is our PreFlight program that will be showcasing your companies. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a problem solver at a time when our country and our community really need you. I was actually just on a call with some, business leaders, and it was talking about, all the different challenges, which I, as an entrepreneur, view as an opportunity that exist in our community. And so it's exciting. I look forward to hearing from you all today or this evening, tonight. And I appreciate you being a part of our PreFlight program, and I am just going to turn it right back to Bren because we'd rather hear from you all and not me. Thanks. Bren, back to you.
Thank you, Jane. We really do have a stacked agenda tonight. So Jane and I are going to keep it short and sweet because there is just so much to get to tonight. We have 8 pitches this evening. As I mentioned, I'm the Vice President of Inclusion and Community Relations at the Entrepreneur Center. My name is Bryn Plummer, and I've been able to work with these entrepreneurs over the past really 5 months as they've been growing their business concepts. They began in September, and we have culminated our classes with tonight's pitch night. A lineup that is we're going to hand it off in just a second, but before we even get to that, I have to really shout out the people who make PreFlight possible. As many of you may know on the call, some of you may not know, the Nashville Entrepreneur Center is a 501c3 nonprofit. We run ourselves like a business. We follow all those guidelines of strong business practice and operating, but we are a community asset. We're a community entity. And some of the partners that work directly with PreFlight to make sure that we have the support we need and that our entrepreneurs in the program get the support that they need are here represented on this slide. You've got CLA, who is our newest partner, and we'll hear from Mark from CLA in just a second. Silver Falcon Capital, which if you've never heard of them, they're pretty new. They are the investment arm of NASCAR, built by the NASCAR family, and they have been partnering with the EC they're actually out of Charlotte, North Carolina. They've been partnering with the EC for nearly a year now. So we're grateful for Silver Falcon. EO Nashville, which is the Entrepreneurs Organization. Entrepreneurs Organization is an international entity that represents entrepreneurs who've grown their business to $1 million or more in revenue. And part of why we love Entrepreneurs Organization, the chapter here in Nashville, is because they work principally with entrepreneurs who are growing before they've even gotten to that million threshold. They're already trying to work with those entrepreneurs who are at that $250,000 a year mark and try to grow them. So we are just so thankful and proud to work with EO Nashville. And finally, last but not least, Launch Tennessee, the statewide entity that oversees a lot of the entrepreneurial activity around the state of Tennessee. They're on a mission to make Tennessee the most startup friendly place in the country. And we are, of course, on a mission to make Nashville the most business friendly, the best place in America to start and grow and launch a business. So we are definitely hand in hand in that work. And as I mentioned, our newest partner, CLA, is on the line. We just had a second to talk with Mark, who's here from CLA. And they've really been in the seat of being a program partner with PreFlight and several of our other programs for just several weeks. So Mark, are you out there? Are you able to come off mute?
I am. Can you hear me okay, Bryn?
Yeah, you sound great, crisp,
Well,
crisp and clear.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, please tell us a little bit about CLA, why you decided to partner with the National Entrepreneur Center, and a little bit about yourself.
Sure, and I'll make this very brief because we have a great agenda for this evening. CLA is created basically to create opportunities. So that's what's intriguing about the NEC for CLA, is because you have a bunch of people that are trying to create, innovate, add something to the Nashville community, and we're very excited to be part of that. I am a CPA. Our firm also has outsourcing, wealth advisory. We're a professional services firm that are passionate about helping others reach their dreams and leave a legacy.
I love hearing that, because opportunity is one of those words that gets tossed around a lot, especially in the work that we do of entrepreneurship and this place of community development, economic development. But it's truly this person-to-person work. And I'm really excited to have CLA with us, because I can already tell from just the few interactions we've had over email and now over Zoom that you all are ready to go hand to hand to work with people to help grow their businesses and grow their opportunities directly. So again, appreciate you. Mark will also be serving as a judge this evening of our pitches. So I'm excited to hear his perspective on the 8 businesses that are here pitching tonight. Tonight's lineup, as I mentioned, we've got 8 businesses representing both startups, as you might think of a traditional, when we say the word startup, you might be like, what does that mean? So sometimes we use the word startup to refer to a business that's just getting off the ground, which in this case is all of these businesses, right? But also the word startup can refer to businesses that are growing through technology. So if you think of Uber when it was first getting started, or Zoom when it was first getting started, these technology implemented startups. So we have a mix this evening of both tech innovative startups and also small businesses that are serving a particular niche in our community. So I'm excited for you to get to hear from all 8 of those entrepreneurs who will be working who have been working together and will continue to work on their projects through PreFlight and beyond, but also have been working alongside one another. They've really been supportive to each other. So just before we open this room up to all the guests who are here, they were supporting each other and saying congratulations and good luck to one another. So super supportive of one another, in addition to growing their own entities. Finally, I do want to say that we have some judges who are here tonight. So part of why we do judging in PreFlight Pitch Night, you might say, is there a prize? Is there a reward? There isn't a prize. This is a non-competitive event. Entrepreneurs are not going head to head. The prize is getting to show this baby they've been incubating to the world. But we want to bring judges to the table, one, because some of these folks have served a really important role for our entrepreneurs. They've been acting as advisors and supporters to entrepreneurs, whether in our program or beyond our programs here at the EC, or they are entrepreneurs who've been there themselves. They've launched businesses. They want to help other people who've gone that road get the kind of support, advice, and questioning that will help them be successful. And also because I think one of the things that judging does, people who will ask questions of each of the pitches afterwards, one of the things judging does is sort of narrate some of the questions that you might want to ask yourself. If you're out there and you're thinking about starting something, these are some of the questions you might get asked by an advisor, a potential investor, a potential partner. So I think it's helpful to both showcase these folks, but also to showcase the entire entrepreneurial process. So we've got 3 fantastic judges who will be with us this evening. Mark, whom you just met, Lauren Sykes, who's the founder and CEO of Design Ed and a PreFlight alumna herself, and then Moncherie Holmes-Jones, who's the CEO of Mojo Marketing here in town in Nashville. Now, the way that this works, and I'm going to go back to the lineup for just a second, the way that tonight's event will work is that each entrepreneur will have 5 minutes to give you their pitch. Afterwards, they will have questioning led by the judges for about 3 or 4 minutes. Normally it's 5, but again, we've got a stacked agenda, so we've limited it to about 3.5 minutes for each entrepreneur who's pitching. Also, I would like to add that the entrepreneurs have gone a further step. In addition, you're not just going to get them pitching tonight. They've actually put together videos that showcase their pitch and them providing their pitch. So these are very clean, crisp. They've done a phenomenal job to get their pitches to a place that has a really high production value. So you can sit back, enjoy, ask questions all you want. I encourage you to use the chat feature, just some housekeeping. I encourage you to use the chat feature to encourage people who are pitching to ask questions and to use that as a way to celebrate the work that's going on here this evening. And with that, I believe we are ready to get going. So the way this is going to work is that I'm going to announce the person, I'm going to play the video. After the video, I will bring that entrepreneur off mute. They will come onto video and we will have them in the Q&A alongside the judges. All right, so let's begin. Here we go.
My name is Greg Root, and I am the founder of 22nd Century Theater. We are a revolutionary live streamed performance space built for long-term sustainability. 22nd Century Theater is live and streaming. One thing that sets 22nd Century Theater apart is how we approach the current trend of consuming live streamed performances. Currently, live...
Oh my, looks like, okay, we could not see the slide. Let's start that again. Sorry, Greg, we don't want
live streams often fail to deliver the experience of... My name is Greg Rood, and I am the founder of 22nd Century Theater. We are a revolutionary live streamed performance space built for long-term sustainability. 22nd Century Theater is live and streaming. One thing that sets 22nd Century Theater apart is how we approach the current trend of consuming live streamed performances. Currently, live streams often fail to deliver the experience of actually attending a live performance. Venues today are not built with this experience in mind, meaning it often feels like an afterthought. Another problem we aim to solve is that artists are on a constant mission to widen their audience and engage with them effectively. It's hard for artists to know where their efforts are best spent, and their resources can limit their options. An artist's ability to present their craft to the right people is absolutely essential. There's also a serious lack of performance spaces suitable for anything but live bands around town. Nashville is trending towards being a hub of art and creativity that goes beyond that. And anyone looking to showcase musicals, comedy, film, or anything else are expected to fill a 3,000-seat theater or are offered a side room at a coffee shop with a dozen folding chairs. Nothing that sets them up for actual success and effective visibility. Due to a lack of versatility, venues fail to maximize, utilize, and monetize their facilities. And finally, there is a serious lack of community engagement with venues today. Both artists and audiences will gravitate towards a space that is genuinely invested in the success of the acts they choose to put on stage and the success of the community which they are a part of. So, we will build a network of cameras controlled by in-house video directors, allowing us to create a completely unique live streaming experience. With artists being able to perform for live audiences, we will capture that incredible, authentic energy of live performance and stream it to anyone in the comfort of their own home. We will create an effective and affordable option for artists looking to expand their audiences both locally and around the world. They will be able to rely on our expertise, ensuring that they are delivering the best versions of themselves to that new audience. We will build this space not only with this experience in mind, but one that is capable of hosting a variety of performance. We will have the necessary design, space, and stage that will cater to everything from bands to musicals to comedy to film screenings and more. The unique versatility of the space will allow us to maximize, utilize, and monetize the space most effectively. And finally, 22nd Century Theater will make it an absolute priority to highlight local talent, and not just the artists themselves, but local creative professionals, screen printers, concert promoters, graphic designers, everything. We will cultivate a community that keeps everyone engaged and puts our customers in the best position to elevate their art. Our target early adopters will be artists with limited resources trying to reach a wider audience. We will also serve artists of means who are just looking for a professional and engaging live stream experience. We will be able to serve artists other than musicians looking for effective and accessible places to perform. And lastly, the interest in the talent being cultivated here in Music City is undeniable. So we will serve that curiosity with a truly authentic product by creating a special atmosphere that both live and online audiences are looking for. 22nd Century Theater will not only rely on the traditional revenue model of venues today, such as ticketing, reservation, advertisement, and alcohol sales, but we will also offer a subscription model for audiences local and online. We will effectively monetize our facilities, and the online sphere presents new opportunities for advertisement dollars. The market opportunity for a venue like this seems endless. Venues are not built for a variety of performances. They are not built with live streaming in mind. They do not offer expertise, and they do not offer subscription memberships to audiences local or online, as well as they often fail to engage a community in a way that keeps people invested and makes them into long-time repeat customers. We will compete directly with mid-sized venues such as Mercy Lounge, the Basement East, Cannery Ballroom, Third and Lindsley, those types of venues. But none of these venues have the capabilities 22nd Century Theater aims to offer. We will also compete with DIY live streamers, but they offer an unpredictable product that will not be able to compete with the quality and professionalism we will provide. There is no better time than now for 22nd Century Theater. The subscription model has never been more understood. There will be zero customer confusion when offering these new subscription memberships. Not to mention, audiences have never been more comfortable with consuming live-streamed content. The circumstances we find ourselves in has turned what was probably a niche interest only a year ago into something that has etched itself into the normality of content consumption. The venues that survive these trying times will learn from their experiences and catch on to these trends, but this is our opportunity to be first to market and set the standard. So why me? Well, it's been my entire life. Since I was a kid, I've been performing on stages, and I have dealt with promoters and managers of venues all over the country. I'm not only the founder, but I am also the ideal customer. Also, for the past 5 years, I have been a key participant in the build, growth, and sustainability of a local startup, preparing me for the myriad of issues I am sure to encounter throughout this process. I will also have the aid of my longtime friend and colleague, Kyle Guercio. Mr. Guercio has his formal education in film studies. He has experience filming a variety of performances and has also spent the past 6 years working for startups, specializing in online marketing and engagement. So what do I need from you? I need a real estate partner, as well as an angel investor who will give this the time needed to grow and flourish. I believe that this is the future, and I am confident that 22nd Century Theater is what's next. My name is Greg Rude, and
Congratulations, Greg. Greg, fantastic pitch. I think we can all attest to how much we miss live music, how much we miss live performance, and even just getting a little taste of it here and there through a live stream, through my phone, through Instagram, what have you. And Instagram Live has been really vital throughout the pandemic. All right, and with that, I'm going to bring Greg off mute. I'm going to pause my screen share for just a second so it will stay on Greg's name, but so that I can see each of your faces and see who's out there. So let's see here who we've got. Greg, are you on?
I'm here.
Greg is here. And then judges, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect.
I'm here as well.
All right, perfect. All right, everyone. I'm going to let the judges now take it away to ask their questions of Greg. They will be able to ask Greg about his model, about his concept, and exactly what 22nd Century Theater's future looks like. So judges, I'm going to mute myself and let you take it away. I'll start the timer for questions now.
I can fire away. This is Mark Wazgowski. Greg, excellent presentation. Appreciate the diligence that was put into it. Live music fan myself. It's a passion of mine. Leading into my first question, post-pandemic, does this impact your model going forward after the pandemic is done? Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I don't think, in fact, I think it relies on us returning to normalcy afterwards, because I think people are just going to be way more apt to stream these sort of things from home. People who might have been on the fence about it over the past few months have done it just based on curiosity and boredom. And I think people have found that they will enjoy that. People who maybe a year ago might not have ever tried it. And I'm also very invested in the live experience of having people actually there. So that's a very important part of the whole thing.
Okay.
I have two questions. One is a little bit more detail around the subscription model and what that would look like with the partners that you had mentioned up there. I'll stop there.
Sure. Yeah. So those weren't necessarily partners, as more as just examples of how subscription models have made their way into like every single part of consumer consumption these days. And yeah, so I actually surveyed over 50 people, asking them about this and if this would be something that they'd be interested in, how many times they'd see themselves doing it per month, that sort of thing. And what was crazy is that of those people, there was maybe 4 to 5 who said they would not do something like this. Almost everyone else was very into it. And the most surprising thing I found from that survey was every single person landed on the same number as far as times they would use something like this. Everyone said either 1 or 3. It was like, I got the vibe that people didn't want the commitment of every month. So basically it would be a subscription model of, up to 3 tickets per month. The idea having one model that is for both local and online. So people here in Nashville, they could go to 2 concerts in person, 1 online, however that works. And then a separate one that's strictly online for people who are obviously not in town and just want to be clued in on what's happening in Music City, even though they're not here.
Have you been able to test this at all?
As in like testing, doing a live stream myself? I have not personally, but I have attended quite a few over the past few months. I have friends who have been doing these for their own personal projects. And honestly, there was just one done a week ago, and I was astounded at how the video quality is so high. I think where the current, for Twitch specifically, I think where there's a lot of work to do is in the sound. I don't think the sound quality is all that great. And not to mention, like the vision I have of this is not just these live streams we've been seeing of bands in an empty room, but I want people watching it to feel like they're part of it, which is why that live audience is so important.
All right, that is all the time for Greg's questions. Greg, thank you so much. Really wish you good luck.
Thank you very much.
Pulling back to Greg's CTA, he is looking for people who understand commercial real estate and also angel investors. And Greg, we hope that you find them soon, because I would love for 22nd Century Theater to exist. And good luck as a performer yourself, my friend.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Great work. All right, up next, we've got Clutch DIY. Clutch DIY is one of those things you don't know you need until you really, really need it. So I'm going to just let it speak for itself. Marshall Farmer is founder and CEO of Clutch DIY, and we'll hear from him in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Marshall Farmer, and I'm the founder of Clutch DIY. Clutch DIY provides virtual support to homeowners that need help completing their home repair and improvement projects. Like many homeowners, I enjoy doing home improvement and repair. There's quite a lot of things that I don't know how to do, and past DIY experiences have proven that, but I'm confident I can figure things out if I have the right information. To bridge my knowledge gap, I've done like many other homeowners and watched an insane amount of YouTube videos and read a lot of home improvement and repair blogs. The problem is, using do-it-yourself home improvement and repair videos and blogs is time-consuming and doesn't instill complete confidence. And that's because online information is not individualized to your experience or your project. You end up having to piece together multiple videos to find enough information to get started. And creators often exclude key details that the average person isn't aware of, and you don't find out until it's too late. Also, the credibility of DIY videos and blogs is often questionable. Anyone can put up a video, and there's no way to be completely sure that they're giving you all the right information. And there's no way to independently validate your understanding of the information or the quality of your work, no matter how many times you watch that video or read that blog. This creates a difficult situation for the homeowner that needs help with their project. They either take a risk on their project with not enough information or pay too much for a contractor to do the work for them. We solve the problem by delivering real-time, on-demand support that helps homeowners complete DIY projects better, faster, and with more confidence. We do this by providing project-specific help with real-time video calls that are fast and easy to schedule and with verified professionals that you can trust. Our product features on-demand scheduling where a homeowner can go through the entire process and get connected with a pro in 5 minutes or less. We leverage an interactive video conference service powered by Stream with on-screen tools that enhance our pros' ability to provide quality support. And we pair you with pros that can answer your questions and have an innate ability to teach so you have the confidence to take the next steps on your project. We're initially going to market with the Clutch Save 15-minute virtual session designed for that customer who needs help on their project and has exhausted DIY videos and blogs. We also do see an opportunity in the future for pre-scheduled sessions and a subscription service. The defining characteristic of our target customer is they do DIY not only because they want to save money, but also because they want to ensure their project is done right and they desire that sense of achievement. Also, our pros are our customers, and key to their satisfaction is a comparable compensation and being able to have the autonomy to work when they want to or when they need to. There's a lot of opportunity in the market, and after factoring in data on the number of DIY projects completed in previous years, our ability to reach our target customer, and some assumptions on the initial market share and our early adopters, I believe the obtainable market is approximately 39 million in the short term. The majority of the direct competition in the market has emerged this year due to the pandemic. I've taken a close look at each one of these, and I believe we still win in those areas that are most important to our customers. And that's having a great professional that's also a good teacher that gives you confidence to move forward on your project and is there to provide support when you need it most. Our go-to-market plan begins with a strict focus on our DIY customer characteristics, and specifically those that are experiencing the most pain. We do this in part by focusing on the type of projects that are completed most often and those projects that present the most difficulty. The customer journey for almost every DIYer begins with YouTube and Pinterest, and we'll reach them here with targeted ads. Since this is relatively a new market, we'll offer the first session free to entice customers to try Clutch. And we keep those customers coming back by having great pros that know their stuff and can teach. A number of indicators show that now is the right time for Clutch DIY, and we see that in forecasted sustained growth in DIY retail spending in the industry as a whole, continued price growth in home services due to a declining number of skilled professionals, and an increased adoption in virtual services due to the pandemic. Starting out self-funded, I'm targeting breaking even in the second quarter of year 2. Forecasted growth increases each year, but averages 4.5% month over month in the first 3 years. Cost of sales is entirely wages paid to our pros at $40 an hour, and we invest heavily in marketing in the first 3 years at 20% of sales. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Marshall. Thank you so much. And Marshall is one of not one, but 2 MBAs who are presenting tonight. So I always love when we have MBAs who take PreFlight because they just bring so much to the course. They're able to share a lot of different insights. So let's bring Marshall up. Marshall, are you out there?
I am.
Ah, delightful. All right, we've got Marshall. Marshall, I've got judges here for you. Judges, you may ask Marshall any questions you have about Clutch DIY, including but not limited to how do I repair the many things in this house. So Mark and Lauren, I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, I have a few projects currently that can be
right, in quarantine, I've started so many projects.
Yeah, if you need a beta tester. Tell me more about the pros and how you would go about finding training if needed. What does that look like?
You know, I think we'd have to, well, just the pros themselves. You know, I think there's an opportunity to capture that pro that can teach one, by going to some of those trade schools and vocational schools that have people that teach every day. So it kind of have to be a ground level recruiting campaign to bring some of those people on the team. But I think there's some, there's some people built in there that have that ability, that do this every day and are experts at it. And then again, I'm thinking to people like my stepdad, who I trust, with anything in my house to help me with. We'd be targeting people like him, who's tech savvy, who's got a lot of years of experience doing that kind of thing. That I, just would have complete confidence that he's giving me good information on whatever I'm working on.
And Marshall, I was going actually the same direction that Lauren went, but was curious then, of course, I always think about scalable. Of course, Marshall doing this can help out, or a couple, but the scalable part of that, and not questioning, just curious about the $40 an hour price point for those pros, that is going to be sufficient, you believe, to get maybe some of those individuals that might be used to a little more. I guess some thought process around that, Marshall.
Sure. I did quite a bit of research and talked to a good number of professionals. Okay. I guess depending on which resource you're looking at, you might lean one way or the other. But I do think the $40 an hour range, somewhere between $40 and $60, it is a pretty competitive range. You look at some of the more targeted skilled professionals, electricians and plumbers, or just general handyman, they're all sort of in that range. Mm-hmm. And I think the selling point that they would see out of this is the fact that a lot of these folks would be sole proprietors doing some of this stuff on their own. They don't have the administrative responsibilities and other things that come with running their own business. All they really have to do is show up to a video call, and they make that much an hour. So I think that helps it become competitive, where they might not make as much as they do now per hour, but subtract all those other things they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and ends up being pretty competitive.
Okay.
Have you thought about also, because you talked about like the abundance of videos and then like kind of bringing in these pros, but almost building out content in curated ways just to keep people engaged or at different levels potentially?
I have actually. I've got a good friend of mine who works for Google. He's kind of an advisor for me right now. And we've talked about the benefits of that and how that drives up search results, to get you, on the top of the search results in Google and YouTube. And I think there's an opportunity to create unique videos to where you're actually finding a way to point out some of those missing pieces in other videos. I could tell you a bunch after my projects this past weekend and make a video out of that one. But being able to focus on those missing pieces that all the other videos aren't showing, to help kind of fill that void a little bit, and then keep people coming to the site, realizing that there's an option out there for virtual help more real time if they need it as well.
I like that idea of supplementing that with the videos. The question, though, I think that came from the group is really about the liability. I think that's another great question. What type of liability is assumed by you, since you have a real-time person getting paid to assist the homeowner? That's a great question from Carissa.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit more I need to figure out there, but what I have done is looked at the terms of service for all my competitors, and they have some very unique language in there where they specifically talk about they're only giving you information. You're not necessarily watching somebody do the work. So I think there's a little bit of a liability shield there that keeps you from getting in trouble, from somebody doing something wrong and you being held liable for it. But it's that key part of just giving you information, just kind of like YouTube is doing now, and not necessarily walking you through each step of the process.
Got it. I think that makes a ton of sense. So it's more of you're giving the person information, but what they do with that information is sort of in their hands. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Well, Marshall, that is the end of our Q&A with you, Mr. Farmer. Thank you so much for sharing about Clutch. Clutch DIY, I'm really excited for it because I like many people, including Lauren out there, started many a project and gotten in over my head. So really appreciate you bringing this to the forefront and for being part of PreFlight with us. It was great to have you on board. Thank you so much and congrats. All right, are we ready for the next one? Let's do this. We are just cruising through. I can't believe how quickly we're moving through. The videos that you all spent time recording makes a huge difference. So up next, we've got Cultiva Connection. We've got Alex Lawhorn, who is our co-founder and marketing strategist for Cultiva Connection, and his partner, Catherine Lawhorn, who's his co-founder and content creator. If you can't tell, they are a married partnership, and they actually started their dating relationship by talking about travel. So it's very fitting that they have a concept that is really around that idea of exchanging cultures and exchanging ideas. All right, here we go.
Have you ever dreamed of learning a language but didn't know where to start, or once you started by taking a class or using an app, as I like to say, you hit the fizzle out stage? Well, that was me 7 years ago. I learned a little Spanish in high school and college and then just forgotten the majority of what I learned. It's pretty common. Then I stumbled upon a language exchange here in Nashville and everything changed for me. My wife and I met with a Colombian lady named Aurora for the next 3 years. We met weekly for the next 3 years. And it was something that I looked forward to every week. It gave me accountability, connection, and a door into another culture. It put me in a state of flow where I forgot everything about the outside world and just focused on the present. Different people have different reasons for learning a language. At Cultiva, we aim to find the why for these people. We also aim to find out how you like to learn, and it varies person to person. The problem: how do you stay interested and motivated to practice when learning a new language? This is the fizzle out problem. How do you teach language to accommodate different learning styles? There are many, and they must match the person. The solution: at Cultiva, we offer a platform with multiple learning options, and they are all targeted at creating connection. Connection is the important factor that keeps you engaged throughout the language learning process. Native speaker community groups, whether in person or online, are a huge way to create connection and accountability. They facilitate a way to make friends in your target language. Friends give you the door into another culture, and as I mentioned, create easy accountability. Application learning resources, apps, whether it's vocab or flashcards, sentence structure, quizzes, or games. An app is a great resource to have at your fingertips. And this is one area of the puzzle that works in conjunction with the other two resources we will have on the platform. The third piece of the puzzle is one-on-one tutoring. Tutors are a force multiplier for your language learning journey. And in that, I mean, they take your foundation of knowledge and the way you like to learn and specifically tailor curricula to your learning style. What is our market size? Spanish is our focus, and we are focusing on the second largest language by population in the world. It's estimated also that around 25 million US adults want to learn Spanish. The online language learning market was valued at $12.5 billion in 2019. Our business model, we envision having a freemium subscription and a la carte model. With the freemium learners, they will have access to a free assessment of their language skills, as well as access to one cultural experience per month. The subscription will give them access to our app, a community of Spanish learners, videos, and interactive cultural experiences with native speakers in person and online, as well as our team of tutors. This will give them access to the tutoring that I was talking about. These will all be based on the why you are learning and how they like to learn. The a la carte option gives learners the option to participate in cultural experiences and essentially buy access to our tutoring without having to subscribe. So where does Cultiva fall against our competition? As you can see in this graph, the vertical axis is a way to determine if the learner has achieved their language goals. The horizontal axis determines ease of use. As you can see, Cultiva falls in line with helping learners achieve their goals while also being easy to use. As an example, Duolingo ranks high on the easy to use factor, but the learner often doesn't have access to speaking with native speakers, so they don't get over that hump and often fizzle out, like I like to talk about. So why Cultiva? We create a connected community, which is essential. We keep you engaged with unique content, and we factor in why you are learning and how you like to learn. I'm Alex Lawhorn, co-founder and marketing strategist, and Catherine Lawhorn is my wife, chief content creator, and also a Spanish teacher. So what are we asking for? Essentially, we're asking for a way to get in touch with developers and people that can help us with developing the app that we would like to do, and our platform to make it easy for our customers to access. We'd also like to gain a better idea of what media and marketing we can use to market our product. Thank you so much.
All right, and that is Cultiva. Thank you, Alex, so much. And now we've got Alex on the line. Alex, are you out there?
I'm here. How are y'all?
Beautiful. Hello. We've got Alex there, and we've got our judges ready to go. I will let you all take it away. I'm going to mute and start that 3.5 minutes or so to ask Alex and potentially Catherine questions.
Okay, well, again, thank you, Alex. Great presentation. I appreciate it. You've mentioned a lot about the personalization of the why and the how. Walk me through that assessment. How do you arrive at that in an efficient manner, and what resource would be needed to get there?
Sure. So right now we are actually conducting a survey to basically see what people that are interested in learning a language would like content-wise. We've surveyed about 60 people, and what we envision doing essentially is when people are attracted to our website through social media ads or Google ads, we envision giving them a basic walkthrough of where they are in their language journey. And once they fill that out, they've been kind of segmented into a certain structure, and we will tailor content to them that way, essentially.
So technology driven for that
Yes.
assessment part. Okay, I was
Yes.
wondering if it's manual, and I was concerned about that. Okay, that makes sense.
We're aimed, we will ideally have, a certain number of created sectors that we'll break them down into.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As a former teacher, I appreciate a lot of the elements that you have going on. Very appropriate for development and learning. So with that being said, just talk a little bit more into that customer journey. Once you do that assessment, obviously people are engaging at different levels in their language acquisition, but how would you keep them in terms of continuing that revenue model?
Sure. Right now we have, we're running cultural experiences online free. And what we'd like to do is once we identify through assessment and basically organic marketing where they are, and then once we do identify where they are, create video. Most likely through our survey, we're seeing that people want, especially now, virtual tutoring and video access to content. And once they do fill out that assessment, we ideally would like to create video content based on where they are and walk them through their journey. So if they were a beginner, they have a long journey ahead of them, and we have a lot of content essentially that hopefully they will subscribe to us and they will have access to once we basically they'll participate in ideally participate in one of our cultural experiences. An example of that is we did a Spain holiday traditions session over about a week or two ago, and we had a lot of people there. If they enjoyed that, they can now have access to tutoring going forward. Something like that's what we're going for.
Chris asked a great question that I was actually
I'm sorry.
Who is eligible to be a tutor, and how would you identify those teaching abilities?
Sure. I actually am working currently with it's a language exchange app that I used, and they discontinued their tutoring. And I reached out to them and have contracted with 2 tutors in Spain that have agreed to work with us. And also I envision they both have English students, and we will eventually, once we have something better set up, we would like to create exchanges or ways to match people with people in Spain and people in the U.S. So that's the way that I have reached out so far, and envision contracting with more people like this in the future.
Have you explored K-12 schools?
We have. My wife is a tutor at a teacher at a high school here in Nashville, and eventually, I think that this does apply to schools and companies. And how we got started in this, to be honest, is we started a language exchange at a nonprofit here. That is on pause right now with COVID, but we would like to get that back set up. I think there's an avenue for that at some point for sure.
Yes, as the former roommate of a Spanish high school Spanish teacher, she would have certainly have loved to know what motivated her students to come to class, aside from their graduation requirements, for sure. Alex, Catherine, congratulations. Love that you all are taking what started in this nonprofit space, so common in Nashville, right, and continuing to grow it out and see how it can get even bigger. And Alex, thank you so much for sharing about what you're doing too. Love where Cultivat Connection is headed. And of course, if there's anyone out there who knows how to get in touch with app developers, of course, the Slack channel at the EC is always alive with opportunities and things. So if any app developers out there interested in doing some language learning or working with someone who is, I'm sure Alex and Catherine are very eager to connect. All right, we are cruising through, and I want to just let you all know that Montre Holmes Jones had to join us a little bit late tonight, but she is here. She's on the line, so we will have our third judge in action in just a second as we get to the last pitch before our break. Wow, I can't believe we're already cruising through. Here we go. I'm going to turn my share back on. All righty. So we've got Paris Love, who will be presenting the Paris Love Productivity Institute. Paris is also the resident celebrity of PreFlight Cohort 3 of 2020, because Paris has been on many different media outlets over the years as she's grown her business. And I'm excited for you all to get to see what exactly she does. And again, I think it's one of those things that almost everyone could use at some point in their life, if not right this instant.
Hi, my name is Paris Love. I'm the CEO of the Paris Love Productivity Institute, where we work with overextended professionals just like you, helping you overcome barriers that are keeping you disorganized, dissatisfied, and discontent in your life, business, or career. The problem that we see is lack of time, lack of systems, a cluttered environment, missed opportunities, knowing how or where to start, indecision, and sometimes being a control freak. You're probably feeling like 24 hours in a day is not enough, feeling stuck and not able to make a decision, or perhaps too much stuff, or you're losing revenue. The utopia is effective time management, systems and processes that work, confident in decision making, increased bottom line, and more time to enjoy life. The utopia is real. Before Paris, our client had a cluttered office. His coworkers didn't want to come in. He couldn't find what he needed when he needed it. But after Paris, and this was 6 hours later, he was able to have clients come over. His coworkers actually thought he had new furniture, and he is a happy camper, and he can find what he needs within 30 seconds or less. I want you to meet Marissa. Who is Marissa? Marissa's 51. She lives in Nashville, Tennessee. She has an income of $250,000 a year. She's educated. She has a successful business practice. But what does Marissa need? She needs accountability. She needs help balancing life. She needs a safe place to share her challenges because she's Superwoman. And she needs to build structures and routines. What does Marissa need to know? How she can get the most in her day, how to say no more often, how to build boundaries, how to take care of herself, and how to implement time management systems. The value proposition that we offer, we have hands-on organizing where we work with the physical clutter. We will coach you to success. We have 3-day workshops, speaking, and we have books on time management and organization. Our 3-year projections, year one is $111,000. We estimate a 25% growth each year. So the second year is $138,750, and the third year is $173,438. What we bring to the table: increased productivity, we shorten the learning curve, peace of mind, increased opportunities, a better quality of life, and clarity. The home organization industry. From 2005 to 2025, it will be an $8.55 billion industry. There was a 4.5% growth between 2014 and 2019, and we expect 35% of that market share. Our collaborators are Judy Mortenstern, who does productivity, Lisa Montenario, who does productivity, Laura Stack, who does productivity, The Home Edit, who does home organization, and A Fresh Start, who does organization as well. We call our competitors our collaborators because we work together with them. When we have a large project, they help us out, and vice versa. Meet our team. Paris Love is the CEO. Our virtual assistant, Simone Davis, and she helps with the client onboarding and client success. Our marketing director is Crystal Robertson, who does all of our social media and marketing needs. So who do you know that's an overextended professional who wants to overcome those barriers that are leaving them disorganized, dissatisfied, and discontent? I want you to meet our client, Andy. After working with us, she increased her clients 25% and 100% increase in clients. Can you get excited about a 100% increase in clients? If you can get excited, we can get excited. You can follow up with us on our social media, our website, Parasol Productivity Institute, or you can call us at 770-722-2748.
All right.
Hi, my name.
Paris, are you on? Are you out there?
I'm here.
She is here. Paris is here. Paris also has just welcomed her 4th grandchild just Monday. So we are really thrilled that you were able to spend time with us today, because I know that is a huge thing to break away from a new precious little baby. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to our judges. And again, Monterey Holmes Jones is now with us, so we will have a 3rd voice in our judging. I'm going to start the 3 minutes now. Judges, you may ask Paris any questions that you have about the Paris Love Productivity Institute.
Paris, thank you for the question. Can you fix the control freak in most of us, or is that something that we just have to learn to live with?
No, I can fix that. I can fix
okay.
that.
If you would just walk me a little bit through the pricing structure. How does the pricing structure work for those various categories of services that you would provide?
So a lot of our clients come to us because of the physical clutter. So we work with them with the physical clutter. And generally we come in and do one area that is causing them the most pain. But unfortunately, we know that clutter will call to his friends and say, hey, come visit me, come hang out with me. So clutter would go in other areas. So we can do a package with them where we come once a quarter or once a week. It kind of depends on the client. I rarely do a one and done because it's teaching them the skills that they probably don't have.
Yeah, I wanted to say first off, I loved the customer profile. I had many names jumping at me. So you have a market, first and foremost. I'm a little confused of home versus office. So you kind of talk about the professional and then the picture showed the office. So does it matter? Is there one or the other? Because I think while we're virtual in many respects right now, there could be a lot of potential that I don't know about for that.
Yes, I do both. And what happens is someone may call me because like, Paris, can you come help me with my closet? But when I get there, they're like, this is what I really need. I need you to help me in the office. And if a business owner calls me to help with their home office, they're like, well, I really need you to also help me with this other thing.
Kind of back to what Mark said, because I get you, like the clutter follows, and so you have these opportunities to keep customers and a referral network. Does that look different in pricing? Can people kind of buy like a bulk? Have you thought about what that could look like so that I'm not always having to call and pay necessarily top dollar, or, you know?
That's why we do the package where I would come, and it depends on the client, whether they need me once a week, every 2 weeks, once a month, or once a quarter. So once I come in, I can assess, because generally If they're calling me for one thing, when I get there, it's something else that's coming up, because it can be very embarrassing to say, I'm an adult and I can't manage my time and my hair clutter. So I do the package for them. And so it's ongoing.
Hi, Paris. Mon Cherie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I sound like I'm one of these people that you need to talk to, but one of the things I was listening to and I thought was really good was the fact that you can come in and kind of turnkey, but you attach it to their cells. So you kind of clutter the mind. I'm curious about the messaging that you're putting out. So usually when you're pitching, the messaging that you create would be great to add to your pitching, because that usually is what the brand speaks out loud, you know what I mean? And that's going to go through your social media and all that stuff. So I'm curious to say, like if somebody walked away today, what are we saying? What are they saying about your brand when you're not around? Do you know that?
Everyone calls, and I am ex-military, so everyone calls me the drill sergeant of productivity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
like it.
I was never a drill sergeant, but I was a sergeant.
Got it. So that helps us explain it better. So we should probably use that. I could see that being a leading articulation to, like when you're announcing everything you're doing, or just going into a pitch, your elevator speech, all of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I love that idea. I also didn't know that about you, Paris. How did I miss that in all this time we've spent together? But it all is coming together now. It's all coming together. Michael says, I do love Sergeant Productivity. Yes. And then one last question. This is a question from Carissa, who I think will win the award for best questions asked tonight. She was curious how you plan to scale this if you're the only person doing the work. And I'm wondering what your thought is on scale. How do we blow this out to reach these projections that you have?
Yes, in order for me to scale, I have to bring on a team. So I'm in the process of getting a team. And when I mention my competitors, we really are collaborators. So if I need assistance on a large project, I can call on them and vice versa.
It's almost like a subcontracting relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's perfect. All right. Well, Paris, again, it's a big week for you. Congratulations to you and to your family. Congratulations. And that actually brings us to the midway point of tonight's event, which we are cruising through these pitches so quickly, which feels in some ways great because we're sticking to schedule. And then in other ways, it's like, wow, this is the culmination of 15 weeks of work. Oh my goodness. So I did just want to have in this midway point, I did just want to call out one thing that I think is really exciting. As you may imagine, we have PreFlight 3 times a year. So pretty much as soon as one cohort ends, the next cohort is right behind them, ready to go. So our next cohort actually begins on Monday, January 25th. So it happens to begin this Monday. So believe it or not, we never stop. We never stop with PreFlighters. So we're going to pick it up right again on Monday night. And then the other thing I want to call out for, actually, it's saved for the end. So I'll just zip right there. There's something else that I want to tease, but it will happen towards the end. I thought I had that slide there, but it is towards the end. So with that, we're going to actually get to our next pitch. If you have anyone who's interested in PreFlight, please send them to our website, send them to me, send them to anyone here to talk to someone about what you get out of that 14-week experience. Someone that I actually spoke to, I remember sitting in the parking lot on our first phone call and just being so struck by this person because she had such clarity of thought. She asked such probing questions. She asked the best questions about PreFlight and about her business concept. And so I think about it all the time as just one of those calls that just really dazzles you. And it's the first time you get to know someone. But Tara Little, who is the co-founder of Right Home, along with Nicole McCone, who's also on tonight, and they will be co-presenting their pitch. And then we will have them on for questions. So let's get right to it.
Hi, I'm Tara Little.
And I'm Nicole McCone.
And we're the founders of Right Home, a decision tool that takes the uncertainty out of home buying. Existing home search tools don't account for those intangible qualities that make a house a home. Buyers cannot waste competitive time on search tools that only let them filter on basic criteria like price and square foot. They need the right house to rise to the top of their list as quickly as possible. Also, the right house can mean different things to shopping partners, wasting valuable time to reach agreement. Our values-based decision tool guides users to specify what criteria matter most to them and ranks home listings according to those criteria. The end result is a ranked list of homes on the market that helps that buyer prioritize which homes to see in person. Right Home takes the uncertainty out of home searching, guiding consumers to a confident and sound decision. How it works. A user will select from our suggested criteria, such as fenced yard, open floor plan, and sidewalks. Then the user will score those tags on a scale of 1 to 5, letting the app know how important each criteria is to them. And finally, those tags and scores will be applied to home listings and presented to the user in a pre-sorted and ranked list with the home that scores the highest across their criteria at the top. Generation X and millennials are in their peak earning and home purchasing years. They use disposable income to buy convenience and have adopted app-based consumerism. 7 in 10 millennials report experiencing fear of missing out, leading to indecisiveness. And finally, our target demographic has more than double the national median household income, with enough home budget to be selective, but not so much that they can have anything they want.
Our value model. Right Home will generate revenue in 3 main ways. Real estate agents can purchase a subscription to display their names as available agents that users can contact. We will sell ads for mortgage lenders and other companies who wish to get in front of our users. And finally, we'll package our consumer analytics, including home criteria, rankings, and other market trends to businesses interested in understanding our user. We'll primarily advertise Right Home on Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns because our target audience spends 87% of their social media usage time on Facebook and 71% on Instagram. Historically low interest rates and COVID-19's impact on how people are using their homes has led to a housing market boom in 2020, which is expected to continue and increase by 7% in 2021. Couple those factors with the almost 80% of home buyers using mobile apps to begin their search, the time is right to launch an app that guides users and buyers to the perfect home for their needs. Those workers who find themselves needing multiple dedicated home spaces for work and school are searching for homes to fit those needs, while others are reevaluating where they wish to live altogether now that commuting is less of a priority. The competition. Zillow was a pioneer in online home value estimates and tells users estimated home values, past sale prices, and more. Trulia includes filters for specific home features. Realtor.com is often updated faster and has a wider range of listed properties than other tools. And finally, real estate agents will help their clients based on a personal relationship. So why now? The COVID-19 pandemic continues to shift how we live and work. Permanent working from home is projected to increase fourfold, but more than the housing market opportunity is a peace of mind market. The majority of our home buyers are 29 to 45 years old, meaning they've seen the world change at 9/11, the 2008 recession, and now from COVID-19. Old pathways to stability and certainty are gone, and consumers will need Right Home to help them confidently make the best choice aligned with their deepest core values and needs.
Our next steps: build. We're researching the right listing API and engineering our rules engine. Then we'll launch in app stores on all platforms and begin collecting user data that will help us obtain advertisers. We are open to your feedback, and we are also open to investing to offset initial development costs.
Again, I'm Nicole McComb.
And I'm Tara Little.
And we are the founders of Right Home, a decision tool that takes the uncertainty out of home buying.
All right, that is Tara and Nicole's project, Right Home. And as you can see, Tara is our second MBA of the night. And we are really excited about this project. I think getting to the core of what people want and need is just so dead on. So with that, I will hand it off to our judges to ask their questions of Tara and Nicole.
Tara and Nicole, thank you for the presentation. I am actually just relocating to Nashville and just bought a house, so I wish I'd have known about this prior to that. Question I have is regarding the source information that really gets to the granular decision making that you want to encompass into your app. How do we source that? Do we have to rely on the listing agents in the marketplace that have their listing on realtor.com, and then your engine would pull from it to try to really make that good match. I guess, where do you get that source information?
Yeah, that's what we're researching right now. There's a number of different APIs, API being like a kind of Dropbox type thing for technology on the back end, where you have a special key where someone can feed their information to you. And so MLS would be the most reliable, most frequently updated source for that. But each market, Nashville has its own MLS, Charlotte has its own MLS. So it's a little more hard to wrangle and would be more expensive. Zillow has a cap for concurrent pings at the same time. So if we had 1,000 users trying to use our app at a single time, then they would have reduced productivity, reduced service. So we're looking at that. But yeah, we would have to rely on the descriptions from home listings to build the rules engine to look for keywords. And Nicole, I'll let you speak on that a little more clearly if you want to expand or clarify on that.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. We'll use those keywords. We'll just pull from the keywords that are in that description. So someone's preference that they want will pop in those keywords and search through the database for that description.
Hi, ladies. Great presentation. And that was a good question. My only other question is that when you hear the brand name, you immediately think very humanized, personal, like what else is there? One thing I didn't hear was just kind of like driving home that ride home. Like, what is it different? How is it different from Zillow? How is it different from Trulia? We hear the back end and what's happening, and those names have their own meaning. But I think the title and the brand name is on point for the climate that we're in today and where we're going. But now it's time to really drive it home. Sometimes you can sell on the brand alone and then allow the culture to kind of be built around that, so that you can figure out what really needs to be included in your business. So I'm curious, how are you guys continuing to develop that?
Yeah, that's such a good point, Nicole. Go take it, Nicole.
The biggest thing that I want to hit on is how are we different from Zillow and why we're personable. Our preferences that a user can pick is based off of what they want, whether it's a big yard, whether it's a sidewalk outside. They get to pick those preferences, which Zillow doesn't allow. And it just populates a favorites list that you've hearted. So you have a full list of favorites, but you don't know why you favorited it at the end of the day. You don't know how that ranks up against other houses, but what ours will do is that it will rank them based on the preferences that you've selected and how you've rated those preferences from 1 to 5. So now your favorites list isn't just a favorites list, it's a ranked category of all of the homes you have and why you favorited them and which home specifically fits your preferences that you want.
With the highest composite score at the top and descending order.
That's good. That's good, it did. Because sometimes we just go down the rabbit hole, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you just end up having a favorites list of 100 things and you're like, I don't even know how to look through this.
It's almost like a dating app meets a home buying app, kind of merged together.
Yeah, I like that, Bren.
Well, you guys just steal it. Tara, Nicole, thank you so much. And I also want to emphasize, when Tara brought this idea to us, she was thinking that this decision-making tool, basically this is going to help people make decisions with more confidence, which I think we all need. And I know you have intentions to make this something that could go across verticals. Are you still leaning that way, Tara?
We are, yeah. So Nicole and I work together in IT for a healthcare company in town. So we are product developers first, entrepreneurs way afterthought. I hope that's not too unflattering to say, but the way you want to develop good technology is a tiny minimum viable product and expand from there. So Nicole is able to build this in a really generic, fluid way that can be customizable no matter what. We can pull in options from whatever list. Maybe it's your Pinterest board, maybe it's your Pottery Barn favorites list. We can pull in from anywhere and populate any criteria for any decision you're making, buying a car, choosing a school for your child, and score and calculate. The API pulling in the listings is not industry dependent, nor is the rules engine or the calculation. So we want to get the real estate done well because it was the first passion project of ours. And then we're really excited for the underlying technology to, once we've gathered usage data and have a really good story to tell about people gaining that decision-making confidence, flip to other verticals, maybe sell the underlying technology across industries.
Interesting. Super interesting.
Picking a college, I could go, that's very interesting.
Right, college. I didn't even think
Mhm.
about that. College is
Yeah.
huge.
Mhm.
I remember, I mean, gosh, it feels a millennia ago, but I remember the College Board when it was first used as a tool to select colleges and things. And it was so overwhelming then. So I can't even imagine what it's like now, given how many more apps and things have sprung up. But Tara, Nicole, thank you both so much. Thanks for taking a break from your product developing ways to come and join us in PreFlight and continue to work on this. And y'all have been Nicole, Tara in particular, you've been so helpful to other founders I know in the cohort. So thank you for that. Anything that you learn, you share it with other people. And that's, I think, the hallmark of a founder that has a lot of potential. So thank you so much. And congratulations, you two. All right, up next, another language tool here in front of us. We've got Spoke Tech and founder Joel Kaiser, founder and CEO Joel Kaiser. So I will play Joel's video.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us. My name is Joel Robert Kaiser and I'm the CEO and founder of Spoke Tech. And Spoke Tech is relationships expedited. Let's dive straight into what that slogan and mission statement mean exactly as we solve our potential customers' problem. It's a global one at that, and it's one of the language barrier persisting despite an increasingly globalized economy. So foreign language speaking individuals and corporations are having difficulty networking and integrating with key global markets, which is slowing business and cultural development. It's hindering cultural development, and that's been happening, but is happening even more as we've had to move into video conferencing platforms for our primary mode of communication in the age of COVID and lockdown and quarantine. And international companies have limited tools for interlingual communications, albeit limited, and existing solutions are both time-consuming and dated. That's building translator departments, hiring a translator, and both of the corporate and individual having to assimilate to English as the standard language for international business communications. We want to change that narrative, and we want to evolve it into integrating people of every race, creed, color, and language in order to strengthen by way of involving these people directly with all of their diversity into these networks and strengthening and enriching the expanding networks. Our innovative solution to dissolving the language barrier and making all that happen is developing an SDK plugin with real-time translation capabilities as an engine with proprietary visual and audio support systems that will plug into existing video conferencing platforms such as Zoom, DialMeet, and Floor, and those latter two are international competitors to Zoom, who have millions of users and a lot less red tape to get through in order to integrate into them. So that'll be our first rollout, visualized here with an Animoji translator as the visual support to the transcribed translations and audio translations on these webcam platforms. So our second rollout will be to integrate with wearable augmented reality devices like Apple Glasses, using our AR filter as a mouth mesh, and essentially opening the door to interlingual in-person conversations becoming frictionless. Our early adopters are Aaron Jackson, that's our primary consumer and a business-to-consumer model. Our persona, who has lots of friends over the world, travels abroad for work, study, and recreation, but hasn't been able to lately because of the lockdown. So she's trying to build and maintain positive connections and work more fluidly with foreign colleagues via webcam platforms that have integrated us as plugins. And we will do that by licensing in the business-to-business model and getting bandwidth to primary buying agents like Verizon, who we're targeting. And they are always looking to distribute their services to a global audience and build out their foreign language speaking viewership. We can apply our engine to their live broadcasting experiences, both sports and other applications, as well as integrating into their network of users that already use their bandwidth. So our free solution, our freemium model will be for individuals. Our paid model will be for licensing to groups and businesses. And we offer the following: relevance to today's market. In the age of COVID, this is necessary to understanding and expanding our networks instead of letting them stagnate. Necessary technology and teams to build this out, as we'll see in the path to market, and an intuitive interface and simple concept that will directly plug in and integrate with existing platforms like video conferencing. So with the target audience of global organizations already seeking enhanced virtual connections, our path to market is timely and simple. This is our opportunity. We're going to be fundraising using pitch deck presentations to key groups just like yourself. And we already have the interlingual specialists in place and growing every day. The team is, and they will be able to create the proprietary functions that will integrate into our first and second rollout that I've covered, and that will be tested in an alpha in local groups like Apto Global and Cultiva Connection, and then tested as betas in Gio, Meet, and Floor, moving up, getting all that data, user data, and moving up to Zoom. So, and the like. We want to extend our audience to massive global business verticals, making their global systems frictionless. You can see here, we're going to streamline and integrate different verticals. Pause and read that. Our competition exists, but their hardware could be great for integrating and making a more holistic language translation experience in real time. Ultimately, our team is here, it's growing, and we're ready to develop. I encourage you to, again, review our competitive advantage. Our time is now, and we're asking for 150,000 to 200,000, a lean startup to progress the MVP to testing phase, more for a C Corp, and here.
Perfect. Okay, Joel.
Hey everyone, thanks so much
Bless
for
Joel's
joining.
heart. Joel did everything he possibly could to get his presentation down to 5 minutes, as I'm sure you could tell, and worked really many late hours because he knows the technology inside and out. He knows all this stuff. You can go deep into it. I highly, highly recommend, highly recommend that you all get a chance to talk to Joel in person because there's so much more he can share. So much more he can share. All right. Judges, I'm going to hand it off to you in just a second to talk with Joel and ask him your questions.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Joel, thank you very much for the presentation. I don't speak your language, so a lot of that, if I'm an investor, might need to be dribbled to me a little bit easier. So what would be the message? What is the brief message that someone could gravitate to that knows you know what you're talking about but don't really understand it, and I put myself in that camp?
So this isn't just for communications during the COVID lockdown era. This is being able to visualize real-time translation, which exists over webcam calls and video conferencing platforms like Zoom. And one of those slides was visualizing it as an Animoji in our first rollout, and a later rollout for wearable augmented reality devices like Apple glasses. We'll be able to visualize the person you're speaking to, who doesn't even need to be on the interface, as their own personal translator. With like, I don't know if you've been on like Instagram and Facebook Messenger, even Zoom has face filters, right?
Right.
Augmented reality face filters. This will be the layer of our engine that does the visualization of transcribed translations. And the hardest part of building out the technology is getting the lingual specialists to basically do face mapping to the phonetic, and what I was saying by proprietary functions that will integrate into our MVP is getting them to visualize and face map the phonetic alphabet and lexicon of each language, which can apply to this augmented reality filter, both in the first rollout as an Animoji, and then secondly as a face filter mouth mesh for wearable augmented reality. I don't know if that helped at all, but
it did give me some clarity. Price point that you had in the model, that seemed like a fairly significant amount of effort. And again, to get there, is that you comfortable with those models of dollars to get to those levels?
I believe that our MVP is without even being a C Corp is going to cost what the ask was, 150,000.
Okay.
Now, in terms of getting people to use this, yeah, I think individuals will need it to be a freemium model to really integrate it and speed it up to a user base that will actually be able to turn a profit as we scale towards companies like Zoom, who have entirely way more red tape and we can't integrate with immediately.
Okay.
But like I said, GioMeet and Floor are companies that are international competitors to Zoom and have are much easier to integrate with. And I didn't get to it in this version. I have a newer version that I'd love for you to review sometime, so you can pause on those ones that I had to fly through. But Jitsi is an open source webcam. It's an open source webcam function that you can build plugins to. And that's really where we're going to start, and then test it in groups like Cultiva Connection, like Apto Global, who also is part of the EC, I believe. Is that right, Bryn? And she actually helped me, Tracy Snowden, the CEO, helped me pivot from being an application to being a plugin, because just like Right Home said, you have to start with something small and scale it. And that's why I think the lean startup is possible for something this ambitious.
Yeah, I don't, I actually had a similar question, and I know that you probably received this feedback. But yeah, just like less text on there, because I was struggling with hearing what you were saying with the text, and I didn't know where to go. And I think that you have something that's really brilliant. And for anyone that you need to talk to, I think thinking about if it's a sixth grader, what would you tell and teach them that you're doing? I mean, I'm a teacher, but it's true. I was just on a sales call with someone, and I know Tracy, by the way.
Awesome.
But thinking about like, how would you dial that down to a sixth grade level?
Or Mark.
Yeah.
Brutal.
In just a way that people could walk away and say, this is what Joel does, and this is how I could use it, or this is how I could help him.
Okay. Yeah. I think I definitely need a broader pitch, something to stick to the vision and be able to articulate that more clearly and simply. I think there will be several different kind of pitches that apply to the different groups that I'm pitching to, because these technicals are really important to bringing it to market. But yes, it really is just visualizing translations over webcam calls like we're doing right now for different language speakers. It's about that simple. And although it's ambitious to do something like that, since this doesn't exist, our competitors are doing real-time translation with hardware. And if I wish we could be clicking through the pitch, but what there isn't yet is the visualization of these translations, of the transcribed translations in these calls and the audio translations of these calls. And I really believe that our time is perfectly now, because we're all clearly doing video conferencing mostly for our communications locally and internationally. And then we scale up to wearable augmented reality. And that, I believe that this could be a really big selling point for Apple glasses, which is set to release sometime between this year and 2023, because we saw Google Glass basically fail. And it's cool to have, you know, a restaurant's price pop up in augmented reality as you're wearing the glasses in New York, in Times Square or something. But if you could be going into a Tijuana bazaar not knowing Spanish and have your vendor who doesn't speak English speaking to you in English through our engine's filter, that will change the way we live.
Yeah, I'm picturing.
That's the pitch right there.
That's it. Yeah, I'm picturing. I honestly think like a cartoon almost animation could do this. If there's a video where someone's walking into that bazaar and then they pull up their Instagram filter and it has that, you know, okay, they're talking, there's a person speaking in Spanish, and the Instagram filter has a little person with a little hat on or whatever.
Literally what
or
it
they're
is.
speaking it in English. Yeah.
That's our first rollout.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost I wonder if there's an animator out there who can make that video for you.
I
I'm
have,
sure there is.
I have a marketing team in place, and they have a draft developed, but they're looking for 15,000 to develop the lifestyle video that will make this very clear. And I kind of wish I just spent that and showed that, because it's really about visualizing, because this is what we're doing. We're visualizing transcribed and audio translations in real time.
Yep. Good job.
Yeah, I also definitely have time with Monterey, because Monterey is the branding marketing queen, and so I feel like you're going to be able to take this to the next. I'm sure your brain's already spinning, Monterey, things that you would want to do with this. So thank you, Joel. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
really excited for the potential of Spoke Tech. I mean, I think we all, as we kind of wrap our minds around this, and we're trying to get on the plane that you live and breathe in, because Joel is on he's on another strata.
I've been taken to another strata.
But I think we can see the applications here on Earth really easily too. So thank you so much, Joel, and great work. I know you worked your butt off this past 5 months in pre-flight. So, and always been like so supportive of everyone else in pre-flight. So great work, and excited to see what's next for Spoke
I'm excited to connect with the people in pre-flight.
Yeah, please do. Yes, and then I think someone also mentioned in the chat they want to connect with you. So follow up with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be contacting y'all.
Fantastic. Appreciate it, Joel. And next, this is our penultimate founder here in our lineup tonight. As I mentioned, we have 8 pitches, so this is the second to last one. We have Vert Physical Therapy, and our founder, Mariana Hanatando, is on. I'm going to play her video, which is a very beautiful video, I should say, and then we will have Mariana on to answer questions.
Our solution provides one-on-one virtual care with specialized physical therapists, allowing greater flexibility, convenience, lower costs, and better outcomes with fewer visits. We provide virtual visits with all PTs specializing in MSK disorders. They are all Mackenzie certified, which is a well-researched and proven approach, delivering a better quality of care. We provide one-on-one virtual visits with the PT, giving the client undivided attention. On average, a patient will have 1 visit a week, performed through a HIPAA-compliant live video with emergency plan in place, allowing the patient to see the therapist from anywhere. Patients will average 6 visits with VERT versus 12 visits in a traditional PT clinic, and the patient will spend a similar amount of money while receiving a private one-on-one consultation with a specialized PT. Our typical users are busy business people, busy moms, people who live in rural areas with few or no options of PT and specialized care, and small to medium-sized self-insured companies with physically active employees. Right now, we are focusing on the Tennessee market, and 2.1 million is the estimated number of employees who receive health coverage through a self-insured employer plan in 2019. And we intend to penetrate the market by working directly with self-insured companies, creating partnerships with concierge services, urgent care, orthopedic groups, and through social media and ads. We recently partnered with Viasana, which will refer us patients. Our business model is 100% virtual. We charge $85 a visit with an average of 60 minutes initial visit and 30 minutes the follow-up visit versus $150, which is an average cost of a private one-on-one in-person visit in Nashville. Our estimated expenses are about 82% and our estimated margins are about 18% in 2021. Now is the perfect time to explore the telehealth market. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, people are more open and willing to try telehealth. Also, with a lot of people working from home, they need support with ergonomics and they have an additional need for convenient PT services. The telehealth market is also expected to grow 37.7% per year. Vert Physical Therapy is the only clinic with all Mackenzie certified PTs, which is an internationally researched and acclaimed approach to manage MSK disorders. We provide a team-based approach, review patient progress and outcome as a team. We provide one-on-one care, 100% virtual focus, and with emphasis on the user experience. I am Mariana, a physical therapist and the founder, and I intend on the next 18 months hiring support staff and build out a therapist network in Tennessee, and then after that hire PTs in many other states of the US. I'm looking for partners who could potentially refer patients, cash-based healthcare provider partnerships, and connections with self-insured small and medium companies. Thank you.
All right, Mariana, great job, Mariana. Fantastic. As someone who has gone through that dance with PT of having to drive there, go back, park, all that stuff before, even though physical therapy is phenomenal, one of the best things you can do and have access to for your long-term health, it is challenging. So being able to be very early to market in the virtual space here is certainly very timely and exciting. Mariana, are you on?
I'm here.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to have, let's see. There we go. It didn't start from the beginning, everyone? When did it start? I'm just looking at the channel.
I think it was on the problem, I believe.
Okay, so we got most of it.
Yeah, just the introduction, like the first 2 slides.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Mariana? I don't want to shortchange you.
I just don't know if everybody understood what was since the beginning. That is,
you know what? I would like to go back and just play that first minute just to be safe, if that's all right with everyone.
Sounds good.
Mariana, the founder of Vert Physical Therapy, a virtual clinic that provides musculoskeletal care. According to the U.S. Bone and Joint Initiative, 124 million adults in the U.S. were diagnosed with musculoskeletal conditions in 2015, which is pain or restrictions in bone, joints, and muscles, costing $322 billion in 2014. The problem we see today is ineffective and inefficient care, leading to a lack of physical therapist trust, wasted time, money, and continued pain. According to the U.S. Bone and Joint Initiative, 1 in 2 Americans suffer from MSK disorders and they do not get the care they need. They have limited access and time to a PT during an appointment because they have to share the PT's attention with other clients and attributes. They have to miss work hours, go to a PT clinic 2 or 3 times a week, drive, park, and wait, spending a lot of time. Also, each individual pays an out-of-pocket copay many times. However, they may not receive individualized care. Our solution provides one-on-one virtual care with specialized.
Okay. I think we all caught everything that time. Thank you so much for everyone who put that in the chat. I'm sorry I wasn't able to see that before. Now I'm going to hand it off to our judges to ask questions of Mariana about Vert.
All right. All right, Mariana, I loved it. Definitely a very easy presentation to follow. I thought that was key. And like Brent said, getting early to market. I feel like every brand that's starting anything in 2021 has an opportunity to be early to market. I think in 2020, everybody was looking for innovation. And I think that has birthed a lot of things, specifically in our healthcare market of Nashville. So I think you're on point with that. I would encourage you to really add in some personas, some issues to that, meaning find some cases that you can kind of reference to really drive home to people to understand it. Because like I've never done from a chiropractor or physical therapy, anything. And so for a person like me who hasn't had that yet, thank God, but may need it, who knows, it'll be good for me to understand like what's the benefit of that virtually. So just adding some personas in there, some personalities for that.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing and would add on to that. Are there clients that you do serve or don't serve? I've done physical therapy before. I needed equipment. So like, what does that look like? And then I'm thinking too, for people that do need like support and a hands-on, like to help them stand up or like, so kind of who and what in terms of your customers, and then what do they need? Something to think about. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, so our main public is with MSK disorders. That's very broad. So it's just pain restrictions, back pain, neck pain, shoulder, all of that conditions. And of course, it's not gonna be suitable for everybody. So people that need more support and help and more like a hands-on approach, it wouldn't be appropriate. But a lot of people that think that they may need manual therapy and they don't even know that we can do virtual physical therapy without like having the hands-on and still have very good results. So that's the method that I use, that it's called McKenzie. And this approach is exercise based. So even when I see a person on the clinic, a lot of times my assessment is just more like testing movements and positions, and I don't really have to put a lot my hands on. So it's just a different approach of physical therapy that is a little bit different than the traditional like model. And even in the PT clinics, the traditional ways, people have like 10 or 15 minutes of manual therapy. And then after that, they are just rotating to exercises and modalities and all the different components of treatment in an insurance model. So it's just a little bit different, the technique. And of course, there are some limitations. So it's not like everybody that can do it. I don't know if I answered.
No, that was fantastic. And I asked that just to really get clear about like who it's for, so that when you are marketing it, people know like, oh, that is me, or that's someone that I know.
Makes sense.
Thank you, Mariana. My question was about the PTs. Do you think there's enough resources out in the market that are certified in this manner that will be able to be scaled up? And I assume this will be consistent PT, just like it would in an office setting. It's going to be a client and the same PT, just that same theory.
Yeah, so there are a lot of McKenzie certified therapists. So I already have their list in Tennessee, and there are about, I don't know exactly the number, but probably close to like 100 PTs. And they have like certified in all the different states. So my next step is approach these PTs and see if they have interest in working virtually.
And the payment model would be, to them, would be enticing in a virtual environment?
I think it would be very convenient for the ones that may be afraid of having to being in a clinic with a lot of patients at the same time. So sometimes we see just each one see like 20, 30 patients a day, and you have 3 or 4 therapists. So it's a lot of people coming in the clinics. So I think that's attractive. And also on the physical standpoint, because it is like a tough job, like manually and like physical. So it's just convenient for the physical therapist as well. So I actually reach out to people trying to do that in the beginning of the pandemic, looking for virtual jobs, and I couldn't find one in Nashville, in the Tennessee area. But I think it will be interesting, at least for me. So that's why I decided to start this.
Carissa also had a question. This will be our last question, Mariana. If you, if this is a cash payment or if you take insurance.
So right now it's just cash based. I plan on just doing that if I can, because I can do the treatment the way I think in the best interest of the patient and not necessarily like charging by units. That is the way we have to do if you're using insurance. But if it's convenient and makes sense, I may take insurance later, but to start it's just cash based.
I do know that you got FSA and HSA as well. So if I'm not mistaken, is that right, Mariana? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
that'll be accessible to a lot of people. I love how you're thinking about almost similar to Marshall in the same way that you're thinking about how this could appeal to the base that's going to deliver it. And it might be a similar pay, but way more flexible, way safer, maybe allow them to even specialize. I could totally see a world in which you have a fleet of physical therapists and they're able to really specialize because it's not a volume play necessarily. So, and you having been a physical therapist for 3 years, you know that world really well. So I imagine that's going to help you with your credibility in getting to those folks to deliver care. So that's exciting.
And also they can feel like they can try to get reimbursement from the insurance. So they can have like a super bill and then go after the insurance, seek for reimbursement.
Yeah, I think it's going to really meet the needs of two really different, I mean, you almost have two different user sets in some ways. So it's exciting. And again, I think 1 in 2 people, I think there's a big market for that. So Mariana, thank you so much. And Mariana is actually part of another program that we run called Twin Day, which is our program for founders of color who have existing businesses that are scaling those businesses. So we'll get to watch Mariana grow Vert Physical Therapy for the next year, which is really exciting. We just had a CEO lunch today with Bill McCluskey. So we're going to be in this for the long haul. Excited to have you there, Mariana. And great work, great work. And last but not least, we have our final presentation of the evening. I put this in, I put my slide in a weird place. I found my slide, but I'm going to go back to it later. I'm going to hide my video panel so we can get the best video optimization here. Jesse Perez's startup. This is actually our only nonprofit this evening. We usually have 1 or 2 nonprofits who go through PreFlight, which I know might seem a little antithetical, but our nonprofits are always, you know, in the same way that our businesses are trying to figure out how do I bring in money? How do I make a big impact? How do I meet my goals? A lot of the nonprofits that come through are definitely trying to figure out the exact same thing. And I think you'll be really interested in Jesse's model because she has a really unique approach to how We Speak Color works. All right, let's get into her video. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Jessie Perez. I'm the founder and president of We Speak Color. We Speak Color is a faith-based workforce development organization. We believe that when you help people meet their basic needs first, they're positioned to reach their God-given potential. We Speak Color provides training and access for those seeking sustainable, viable careers. With an initial pathway offering of business analysis, WSC is opening doors to individuals and helping companies build their products right the first time. WSC is a nonprofit organization, and you can find out more at wespeakcolor.org. We're solving for 2 problems. The first is that there just are too few sustainable career paths available. Most people work a job their entire lives, going from job to job with insufficient income, with or without additional education. Some people get into a trade and they have additional opportunities and they need very specific training for that trade. A few people find a career. There are great opportunities with a career, but that door needs to be open to them. The additional opportunity that we're providing is for organizations that need skilled workers. We are solving for this luxury that few small businesses can afford. When most of our businesses are either small or medium sized, even those who can hire a business analyst are usually not getting what they pay for. Only about 20% of business analysts today are trained. When it comes to training, however, we believe that a successful training plus experience is what equals a career path. Our mission is really caring for others through sustainable careers and building community around these skills. We provide high quality applicable training, graduate pairing with resume experience, Interbusiness skill cross-training, organizational skill retraining, and we open doors for underrepresented demographic groups in corporate technology associated fields. When it comes to the people that we still serve both individuals and nonprofits and small businesses. Our early adopters are likely going to be those working in customer service, veterans transitioning out of the military, single moms, and small businesses, particularly those focused on technology or applications or feel that would be a benefit to them. Our business model is scalable as it's delivered over a digital multimodal programs platform. We provide graduate pairing, coaches for their first graduate project, certification upon completion of that project. And we also provide community engagement. This allows both nonprofits and small businesses to submit projects for pairing. Our future programs would include things like project management, HR, and software testing. When it comes to our market opportunity, with over 80% of existing business analysts untrained, there's a vacuum in the workforce that needs to be filled with essential skills that trained business analysts provide. The program cost is only $1,695, and with the average starting salary for a BA of $56,000, the value is impeccable. Others do offer business analysis training, but typically they're teaching what to do, not how to do it. You can tell people all day long what to do, but if you don't teach them how to do it, how will they know? Our competition might be those high-ticket niche business organizations, but those are usually live on-site training with a micro-focused content. Universities and specialized degrees also provide career paths, and so do trade schools in certain environments. As far as why now is really important, the pathway to sustainable careers has always been a need in our community, but even more so now. Majority of people that are economically unstable or needing jobs are those people that are in the everyday jobs. Providing a doorway to career pathways makes it accessible for them to reach regardless of their educational background. The game is changing. As far as our team is concerned, we have an amazing team. I myself am an internationally certified business analyst, and I am a green belt in process improvement with Lean Six Sigma. We also have accounting, legal, and marketing and training on our team. We'd love for you to partner with us today. We'd love for you to think about the opportunity of funding, donate to our operational budget, or fund scholarships for candidates. But networking is also very important. We'd love to connect with people who are dealing with those people seeking additional economic factors, connect with veteran service providers, or partner with us. Connect us with organizations that might be interested to fund or donate with our organization. Again, you can see more at wespeakcolor.org. Thank you so much.
All right, Jessie, are you out there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Jessie, glad you're here. All right, judges, I will start the clock and you have time to ask Jessie about We Speak Color.
Thank you, Jessie. Great presentation. Couple questions, or I'll start with one, I'll turn it over. When you ask for funding, who would you think would be a prime candidate to help fund this mission of We Speak Color?
Great question. So, we're looking at funders from a few different directions. Big businesses would be one. We're thinking our Nissans, our HCAs, our Bridgestones. Those are ideal because they already employ business analysts, and most of the business analysts they employ are not trained. They come in, they have a title, they're doing what they're told, but they don't bring the skill set that really gives them the edge. So that's one set. Then you've got your middle range organizations, law offices, doctors' offices, organizations that are maybe mid-sized businesses that might deal in technology a little bit. And they say, hey, you know what, I want to help support our community, right? And this is less about our organization, more about us supporting our community. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we've got our individuals. So those people that maybe they say, hey, I know that, I was given an opportunity in life and now I want to give back to somebody else. And I want to pour in through this organization that's helping people get to where they want to go.
Thank you.
You mentioned faith-based. Tell us a little bit more about what that looks like.
Sure. So essentially, one of the things that I believe very firmly is that we all have a calling in our lives, and we're able to reach that when we have our basic needs met first. And so just like, the Bible says, don't just teach them, you know, the spiritual things, but you got to meet their natural needs. And this is a natural need that people, they need to be able to feel secure. It's not just about the finances. The finances are very important and that comes with it, but they need to feel like tomorrow their job's not going to disappear. And that's something that they can get from sustainable careers.
I love that. I was going to piggyback on that faith-based question because I wanted to understand it a little bit more. As you lead in with that, I would say look at C12, which is Christian presidents, CEOs. So these are CEOs who are Christian or faith-based. I would say faith-based. I don't want to say Christian. So that's one that's an opportunity there. But also, I would say when you lead in with faith-based, that's a great thing to kind of define and niche your market. Okay. But I think there needs to be some additional articulation towards the actual consumer who's receiving the actual certification. I think the messaging is a lot to who can help and support and fund and the need of the market, which business, you just educated me really, really well on that. But I think now you have to prove to the community why this job is the job that they need. Or like somebody who's already in the business professional space may already see the need for this, but someone who's coming from nothing or needing to start afresh may not. And I think that faith-based connection really with a community connection to really drive some more conversation there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jesse, training, who provides the training? Again, you might have said it and I apologize if I missed it. How is the training through the modules? How's that handled?
Absolutely. So I did touch on it, but it was, just a teeny piece of all of that. So really it's a digitally delivered program. So I'm actually the subject matter expert for the business analysis program line, and I'm creating the courses in conjunction with some educational specialists. We're going to be providing this through multi-modal. So it's going to be videos of me teaching, as well as animated whiteboards, as well as interactive pieces where the people are actually physically doing something during that kind of experience. And so it'll be those different types of things put into video components that they're able to start and stop. Each video will be about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the teaching piece, before they go to the next or participate in an activity.
Very scalable.
Very scalable.
Yep.
Love that. I could also see a world in which you license that or get it into the hands of other organizations, other places across the U.S. who are interested in growing that business analyst world. I love that, and also love that you're already thinking about other verticals too. I saw just a study today that Tennessee or Nashville had, I think, outpaced double the rate of tech sector job growth for the rest of the US. So I think this is a growing tech adjacent workforce where we're going to need a lot of support to continue to fill those roles. So Jesse, great work. Really, really appreciate all that you've done and brought to the cohort this past 4 and 5 months. Appreciate you so much. All right, everyone, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who shared tonight. Again, I just want to reiterate everyone who was here: 22nd Century Theater and Greg Rood, Clutch DIY, Marshall Farmer, Cultivate Connection, Alex and Catherine Lawhorn, Paris Love Productivity Institute, Nicole and Tara of Right Home, Spoke Tech with Joel Kaiser, Vert Physical Therapy with Mariana Tondo, and then We Speak Color with Executive Director Jesse Perez. You all put in such great work, and they're really just a third of the entrepreneurs who were part of this cohort. So phenomenal work to each of you. Thank you again to our judges as well, Mark, Moncherie, and Lauren. We appreciate you all for being on here and going late into the evening to talk with our teams and to share your enthusiasm for their pitches. Can't thank you all enough. And then I do want to emphasize that Monday, January 25th, this coming Monday, in addition to being the first day of PreFlight, is also Pitch for Good's final edition, Tennessee Tough. With the Tennessee Titans and Pinnacle Financial Partners, we have worked over the course of the past 6, 7, 8 months to find some of the most exciting companies across the state of Tennessee, and the winning company will win a year sponsorship from the Tennessee Titans as their small business partner. So tune in for that. That will be this coming Monday, January 25th. You can go to our website to get signed up for that. And I do just want to end by thanking all of our supporting partners once again. We have so many people in addition to the program partners like CLA who make what we do possible and work with individual programs. Our supporting partners are growing every day, including Ancura, which is Marshall's former employer. And we are really, really excited to be so embraced by the community of Nashville, whether it's a company that's been here and is part of the fabric of Nashville, like Ingram Industries, or one of the newer companies to the lineup like CLA and Amazon. So we could not do this without each and every single one of the people rowing in the same direction. Thank you to all of you for being on with us tonight. Let's give one more round of applause again to our judges, the 3 of you, and to the 8 entrepreneurs, really 9 entrepreneurs who are here tonight to pitch their concepts. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope, pray, wish that we get these vaccines out so I can see you all at the EC really, really soon. Everyone have a great night, be safe, and take care of yourselves. Look forward to seeing y'all at the next event at the EC. Good evening, everyone. Have a great night.
Great job, everyone.
Thank you. Great job, Ren. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Great work.